No government should actually know what I'm using my own money for, or tell me what I can or cannot buy with my money.
He left the comfort of big tech to build a lightweight alternative to Bitcoin in his spare time, fighting through the front lines of the historic block wars and continuously championing financial privacy. He gave the world an unerasable open source engine for human freedom. This is Charlie Lee, and this is Foundations by Litecoin. Welcome to Foundations by Litecoin. I'm your host, Randi Hipper. Today, I am here with the one and only Charlie Lee, creator of Litecoin. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Doing awesome.
I love your hat, Charlie. Can you talk about the background of your hat? It is so majestic.
Yeah, it's a Litecoin hat that Sam Samad made like 6-7 years ago.
Wow.
It's the Phoenix Den hat because Bitcoin has the Dragon's Den, so Litecoin has the Phoenix Den, Phoenix to Dragon.
Oh, that's so cute. And yeah. I know you and Samson Mao go back a lot and super far back in Bitcoin. The journeys that you guys went on, especially the block wars when it came to Bitcoin, can you explain what the block wars were and like how that kind of plays into what Bitcoin is today and even the significance of Litecoin as well?
Yeah. Well, that brings back like really old memories.
I think it needs to be talked about.
It's been so long, right? So people were discussing how to increase Bitcoin's capacity, right? Because the fees were high, the blocks were full. Before it was like pennies to send Bitcoin, it became like dollars, $1 or $2 to send a Bitcoin transaction, and pushes a lot of transactions away out of the Bitcoin blockchain because it's not feasible anymore. So some solutions where people were saying we should just increase the block size. But increasing the block size is a hard fork. So you need everyone to agree, otherwise the blockchain splits into two. Some people wanted to do something like SegWit, which stands for segregated witness. It's to take the witness out of the blockchain, which also makes it possible to do something like Lightning Network. So, which is a way of expanding the transaction side amount without expanding the block size, right? So you can do second layer solutions like Lightning Networks or something else to increase the capacity. So there's a group that wanted to do that SegWit with Lightning, another group that wanted to increase the block size like indefinitely, to just keep increasing the block size as needed. There are trade-offs, right? So obviously increasing the block size seems like an obvious solution, right? Where you just increase the block size. There's no reason. But what happens is when blocks become big, it becomes harder and harder to run nodes, and then Bitcoin will become less decentralized and possibly easier to attack.
You know, that's the thing is like people are always trying to change what works and then it just kind of crumbles from within. So getting after like that block war, it's too complicated. I think people were really just trying to make Bitcoin what they wanted it to be instead of letting it stand alone and work. And then now you have Litecoin that has been up and running for over 15 years with no downtime. I mean, how does it feel to see the beginnings of Litecoin 15 years ago when you created it versus now?
It's grown a lot, right? It's kind of become its own thing. Like when I first created Litecoin, it was kind of a fun side project, didn't expect too much of it. And then before you knew it, it kind of became something that I cannot stop, right? It's the thing about like blockchain, what Satoshi created is something that is almost like a living thing. Like it goes on potentially forever if there are miners, there are people using it. And it's decentralized, so it's not something that any person, company can actually stop, right? Or the government. So it's actually very, very neat. Yeah, so if I pass away, like will survive past me, right? Which is, it's like my kid, right? So it's actually pretty cool.
Oh, that's actually really sweet. And the fact that like Litecoin just keeps going and then you added privacy on there. And I feel like privacy has become a really controversial topic. Why do you think that is? And what do you think the major perks of privacy are that maybe people don't see or realize yet?
It's always been controversial. It's because financial privacy is a way where government uses to control people, and to a sense that they can use it to track down bad guys, right? Because people don't fight for it, we kind of lose that financial privacy because banks or governments are using banks and others to track money laundering, for example, through transactions.
Yeah.
Right. So if you know who's sending money to who and know the amount, then you can figure out, like, you can say this is a bad transaction. Let's find out who did it, and then this might be a bad guy, and track it that way. So the analogy I like to give is that imagine if government has full visibility of all your emails, right? If they can see everything you write or all your emails and mail, if they can see everything, they can track the bad guys because bad guys use emails and mail, right? So if they
Yep.
say, I'm going to plan a robbery to someone else and the government can see it, they're like, okay, this guy is the culprit, right?
Yeah.
So if you give up informational privacy, the government obviously is easy for them to track and figure out who the bad guys are. But that's a trade-off, right? And that's not a trade-off most people are willing to make. They would want to keep their informational privacy, even if it makes it harder for governments to track the bad guys. But then, same thing with financial privacy. People are giving up their financial privacy to let the government track the bad guys. Whereas I think people should actually fight for their financial privacy because nobody should actually, no government should actually know what I'm using my own money for or tell me what I can or cannot buy with my money.
Exactly.
Mm.
And then, it's kind of coming to a point where they're putting limits already on what you can buy. Sometimes I go into the grocery store, they're like, you can only buy 1 carton of eggs. And I just think that's like absolutely crazy. And then sometimes, or sometime in the future, your money will actually be programmed to not let you do that if you try to buy 2 just because,
Yeah.
And I think that is super dangerous. And I think that privacy is a basic human right. I think we're all entitled to that. And, I feel that Litecoin actually really empowers people that may not, be really spoken about, especially as a woman in other countries. Sometimes you're in a dangerous situation. You don't really have the rights to speak, but you could purchase your way out of a situation with privacy coins like Litecoin MWEB and others. But I think what people really need to know is that crypto is just not only in America. And I feel like, being an American and coming outside, we leave this bubble. And we're in Amsterdam right now. Why did you choose to come to Amsterdam? Why was this a significant place to spread Litecoin adoption?
Well, not specifically Amsterdam, but we wanted to do Litecoin Summit outside of the US. Right? We've been doing Litecoin Summits every year in the US. And obviously, Litecoin and cryptocurrency is a global phenomenon, right? So a lot of people in the Europe area, it's hard for them to travel to the US, to Vegas or Nashville or wherever we hold Litecoin Summit. So I've met a few people here that they've been following me for years, but they just have never been able to meet me because I never come out here, right? So,
Yeah.
and they're just really glad that we decided to do the Litecoin Summit here, and they drove like many hours to come to Amsterdam from all over Europe, right? So,
That's so sweet.
I think just being able to do a Litecoin Summit, we wanted to do one outside the U.S. We're doing one this year right now in Amsterdam, and then potentially next year, the year after, we'll do something in Asia, right? So we want to
Oh.
do something outside the U.S. for sure.
I think it's amazing because the people we're meeting here in Amsterdam are just unlike any I've ever met before. And to come here and experience this and just tap a different region is just super important to me. And for people that may not know what the essence of Litecoin is and why we should be involved in Litecoin or at least look into Litecoin and be educated about it, what would you tell them?
Litecoin is we're trying to make it the best form of money possible.
Mm-hmm.
So money is, we want something that is better than what we have right now, which is fiat currency, right? Fiat currency is something that governments can inflate away over time. And we've seen that like
Mm-hmm.
over the past few years because of COVID, like money printing has gone haywire.
Yep.
Money supply has more than doubled over the few years, right? And what that means is the money you have in your bank is worth half as much as it was before, the purchasing power.
Such a shame.
And we see that all the time with things becoming much more and more expensive. And the problem is that it happens slowly and you don't feel it, but then you look back and you're like, oh my God, this is like twice as much as it was before. And with coins like Bitcoin, Litecoin, where there's a fixed monetary supply and fixed inflation schedule, there's nobody can inflate the money away. Everyone knows there's at most 84 million Litecoins over the time. And yeah, and that's something that makes it much better money than US dollar or any other fiat currencies.
I would agree 100%. And I am bullish on the future of Litecoin and just decentralization and the push for people to really be empowered to be their own bank. But, we are in Amsterdam, Charlie, and I have to ask you, did you have any sweets? Did you have any good food that you tried out here? What was your favorite thing you ate in Amsterdam so far?
I honestly I haven't really had much good food yet. I just I got here a couple days ago and been so busy with this summit. But maybe like tonight or maybe tomorrow I might have more time once the summit is over.
Yes, definitely get a stroopwafel. Apparently stroopwafel,
Okay.
not stroopwafel, Charlie, is something I got educated on. But more education to be had on Amsterdam culture for the both of us, and more education for the public on Litecoin. So thank you so much, Charlie. If you guys have not yet, smash the like, subscribe, share this out with friends, and comment any questions you have for Charlie, because we will have him back. Later, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.